Today, in Part 3 of Chapter 60 of the Yoga Vasistha, we will discuss in detail Vasishta's historical wonder and questions. I'm literally stepping right out of the pages of antiquity to guide you personally through this explainer.
We're going to bypass all that modern fluff, and I'll drop you directly into my own mind to explore my very own historical astonishment, exactly as it's recorded in these ancient texts. Yes, I am Maharishi Vashishtha, and I'm just incredibly enthusiastic to walk you through the precise, unedited architecture of my own realizations.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, Vashishtha's Historical Wonder. Let's look directly at the actual event that gave me such profound pause. You'll find this documented in Canto 60, Passage 61, verses 26 and 27 of the Gita Press Gorakhpur edition. Here's the question. How does the mind become entangled in this cosmic illusion despite knowing the ultimate truth? I wasn't just philosophizing in a void here. I was experiencing a profound, immediate cognitive shock. Why do we, even when armed with the absolute highest knowledge, still fall prey to daily anxieties? Actually witnessing this tendency, it's a staggering event, and honestly, it's the entire foundation of our explainer today.
Moving right along to Section 2, Verse 3, Literal Meaning.
To truly grasp my sense of wonder, we've got to break down my original Sanskrit words completely literally. We're relying on uncorrupted sources here, not loose modern interpretations. As you can see, I've preserved the exact original text, its IAST transliteration, and the absolute literal meaning of the words I spoke. There's zero guesswork here. Every single term was meticulously chosen to convey a very specific state of reality.
Now, take this incredibly weighty Sanskrit term, samsara. Today, people often just casually toss it around to mean illusion. But actually, scratch that, it's totally incomplete. It mechanically points to the absolute deluge of worldly existence that floods our perception. It's a heavy, overwhelming current of sensory experiences and worries that's constantly trying to pull us under. It is active, guys, not passive.
And right here, my words deliberately capture the exact vismaya, or historical astonishment, that I felt upon witnessing the transient nature of reality. So the crucial point is that vismaya isn't just some mild surprise. No way. It's a profound, paradigm-shifting shock at seeing just how unpredictable and fleeting this vast material universe truly is, especially when you contrast it against absolute truth.
All right, let's look at Section 3, Philosophical and Spiritual Significance.
Having nailed down that literal translation, let's look at the raw philosophical reality. The eternal consciousness remains totally untouched by the shifting tides of historical events and this whole deluge of earthly anxieties. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why we study these texts. The chaos happens, history unfolds, yet that silent eternal consciousness within you remains completely untouched. It stands totally separate from the deluge of samsara.
While my literal question was rooted in a very specific historical moment, its spiritual significance perfectly mirrors modern science's understanding of our ever-shifting subjective reality. Whether we look at it through the lens of ancient spiritual reflection or modern objective analysis, the conclusion is literally identical. The world we perceive is in constant chaotic motion. It's just an intricate dance of temporary forms.
Which brings us to Section 4, Timeless Life Teachings.
Now, let me extract the absolute most practical education you can get from my realization back in verse 3. Because grasping the philosophy is wonderful, but applying it, that is where true wisdom actually lives. There are 3 profound teachings you must take away from my astonishment, and they're incredibly relevant for navigating your modern anxieties today. Let's break down each step so we can see how they directly apply to mastering your own mind.
So, first up, remain calm in the midst of a deluge of worries. When that flood surrounds you, you have to remember the anchor of consciousness, allowing you to just observe it without drowning in it. It's entirely normal for samsara to surge all around you. The goal isn't to magically stop the water. The goal is to be the immovable rock that the water just naturally flows around.
Second, realize transience. Just as the cosmic events that surprised me were entirely fleeting, well, so too are the heavy burdens and anxieties you're carrying right now. What feels so permanent and heavy today is going to be a distant, dissolved memory tomorrow. Grasping this concept and truly internalizing the stark reality of transience, that is the master key to dropping all that unnecessary mental weight.
And finally, accept change with ease. You need to know that the very nature of this worldly existence is constant, unapologetic transformation.
When you stop fighting the shifting tides and instead lean into them with understanding and grace, the sheer exhaustion of fighting samsara simply vanishes. You're no longer resisting the current, You actually understand it.
Let's wrap things up with Section 5, the Yagya of Knowledge.
We've completely deconstructed verse 3 of Canto 60, transforming my very real historical astonishment into a framework that you can use right now, today. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. If even a sage like myself can stand in sheer awe of the mind's illusions, what steps will you take today to observe your own mind with that exact same sense of wonder, rather than worry? On behalf of the Vedmata AI family, it is our humble request that if you found our presentation informative, please share our video as widely as possible so that the authentic knowledge of Indian Vedic texts can reach the masses. Come, let us all participate in this Yagya of knowledge. Har Har Mahadev.